Hello and welcome to a special episode of Cricket Predicta, brought to you by 1xBat, who make infrastructures Delhi NCR. Before we get into a new set of questions, let's look at what happened yesterday. Gujarat Titans secured their second consecutive victory in the IPL, defeating RCB in Bangalore by 8 wickets. At the Chinnaswamy Stadium, Gujarat successfully chased down 170 run target in 17.5 overs, losing just 2 wickets. Butler remained unbeaten on 73 of 39 deliveries. Yes, the old Joss Butler is back, while Rutherford scored a quick 30 of 18 deliveries. Sai Sudarshan contributed with 49 runs before getting out. Josh Hazelwood and Bhuvneshwar Kumar were the two wicket takers. For RCB, Liam Livingstone played a solid knock of 54 runs, while Jitesh Sharma scored 33 runs. Tim David contributed 32 runs. Mohammad Siraj, yes, the former RCB player and now current nemesis, was a standout bowler, taking 3 wickets off Sai Sudarshan, uh, while Arshad Khan, Prasidh Krishan, Ishan Sharma grabbed 1 wicket each. Now let's shift our focus onto today's game. The 15th match of the IPL will see KKR take on Sunrisers Hyderabad. Yes, one defending champion and the other a big batting unit in Sunrisers Hyderabad. Both teams were the finalists in the last season. Hyderabad will be eager to avenge their loss in the final. After winning the first match of the season, SRH has suffered 2 consecutive defeats. Yes, the team that posed or was winning to post a 300-run total is now suffering with 2 back-to-back losses, making this match a very crucial tie between the two. Meanwhile, Kolkata has just won out of their 3 matches, so the winning ratio is 1:3. Let's see what happens today. The host will be desperate for a win and climb up the ranking in the table. We have special guests in the house, of course. We've got Paul Dinette and the others. Well, we are joined by Paul Dinette, the podcaster from Australia, the man who watches every game with astute details. Coming back to the question, Paul, what do you think of Joss Butler? Is he good at opening, or is he better what we saw last night, dropping himself down at number 3 and then scoring a huge 70 odd runs in 30 odd deliveries? What is your view?
Well, Butler sort of implied as much by saying that when he came out to bat, the openers had taken the shine off the new ball and made things a little bit easier for him. I think the more pertinent point is it would be very hard to separate Sai Sudarshan and Shubman Gill. Ever since that amazing performance last season when they each got centuries, they are a formidable opening combination. And as wonderful as Joss Butler is, he's arrived and they've sort of said, well, number 3 might be the spot for you. I think the main thing is that he's got a bit of a new lease on life, Butler. It's been a tough time for him, captaining England in white ball cricket to not much success of late. Even he said in the press conference after the game that the last few months he hasn't enjoyed his cricket. He's enjoying it again now. I'm sure he's happy not to be captain. And I think you want to bat as high as possible if you're a great player in T20 cricket. Opening is probably the best spot, but number 3 is the second best after that. And so, Gujarat has suddenly got a very, very impressive top 3.
Paul, yes, thank you. Thank you, Paul. Will this win against RCB at their background, do you think it'll help Gujarat Titans to lift up the morale, go on to the bigger things and inch closer to the victory or top 4 finish right now?
Oh, 100%. I mean, to go to Chinnaswamy and give RCB a pretty big beating is going to give Gujarat incredible confidence, but it's also the manner of it. Butler getting some runs, Mohammad Siraj looking really refreshed. A few years ago, I thought he was one of the best bowlers going around. He just hasn't quite been there, but he looked right back to his best, or he had a lot to prove playing against his old franchise, and he looked like he was really enjoying his cricket again. I was saying that maybe they shouldn't have Rutherford in the side, that they'd be better off with Glenn Phillips. Well, he made a nice little 30-odd last night. And, they've got Rabada to come back in. The bowling that was there, Prasidh Krishna looked good. Kishore looked good. And I suppose the only concern is Rashid Khan, once again, went for a few runs. But the opening partnership looks superb. And, they're starting to look as one of the teams to beat in IPL 2025.
Right. Thank you, Paul. Paul, when you look at a macro picture from a chopper view, what do you see? I mean, what was the reason for the victory of GT? Or let's put it this way, the defeat of RCB in their backyard.
Well, on the one hand, I think that they probably misread the pitch a little bit. Andy Flower said afterwards it turned out it wasn't a typical Chinnaswamy pitch. And so sometimes when you're batting first and you're thinking that you've got to get a massive, colossal total, then you sometimes go a little bit too hard too early, and maybe they were guilty of that. I don't understand why they got Tim David coming in at number 8. I think he's an incredible player and such a if he comes off, then he wins you the games. And I know he ended up getting bowled off the last ball, but I would definitely want him to be facing more balls than they gave him a chance to do so. I also think it's just one of these things that the competition is so even. You're going to have games where you lose, and it's interesting that on some of the global markets, they've still got RCB as the narrow favourites to win the entire competition. So one of these games that you can't win them all, and they'll be disappointed, but I still think they're in pretty good shape.
We are joined by Stanley Chiodza, the former coach of Zimbabwe. Of course, he was the bowling coach. It's always important to get another perspective. I welcome Stanley on the show. Stanley, happy to have you back. KKR holds a substantial edge over SRH in the head-to-head record. And even the last 5 encounters, Kolkata has dominated. Will Hyderabad be able to put up a fight today?
So, once again, thank you for having me on the show. So, now, when you do look at this counter, there are times when you just have to put historical stats aside and just look at what's right in front of you. Current performance. KKR have blown hot and cold. If you just look at their first 3 matches that they've played, lost by 7 wickets, won by 8 wickets, and then lost again in their last encounter against Mumbai Indians by 8 wickets. And if anything is to go by in that last encounter, the captain's post-match interview, Ajay Rayane, rightfully summarized it. They did not turn up on the day. They did not play a brand of cricket that is worthy of a championship defending team. Okay? And if anything is to go by, if you're playing an SRH, yes, it hasn't been a performance worthy of the team that we saw last season, but they've got one thing going. They've been putting runs on the board. Not as much as we know the team can, but if anything, in terms of the KKR bowling performances to go by, they will get hurt by SRH batting lineup. Okay, that is the sort of bowling performance that brings batsmen who are out of form into form. So they don't want this to be happening at home. Okay, KKR have lots to think about. Their batting is not in great form. Banking on Quinton de Kock alone, that has to change. Their bowling, not so sure what is going on, But then again, it's a bowling lineup that is not really dependent on what seems like it's dependent on the performance of their spinners. But if then the conditions are not conducive, you find yourself wanting, which is exactly what happened in Mumbai. So I think, just looking at current performances, this game is slightly tilting in favor of SRH.
Well, the show is called Cricket Predicta, brought to you by 1xBat Womeki Infrastructures. When we're talking about Cricket Predicta, we're talking about stats, and stats are the lifeline for any sport. Let me throw another stat at you. At Eden Gardens, the team batting second wins 60% of the matches. Do you think the team winning the toss will go in for batting?
So now, Eden Garden, the toss plays an important role. Why? Generally, at the back end of the match, especially in the second innings, dew generally kicks in, which makes it hard to grip the ball, which makes it hard for you to get any assistance off the surface, which makes winning the toss important and want to bowl first. And hence, you've got teams with a high margin in terms of winning, batting second. Now, KKR, playing at home, their strength is in their spinners. And hence, you need to give them the conditions that assist spinners. That means a dry surface, okay, for Varun and Sunil Narine to get some form of assistance to become effective. The good thing about dry surfaces, not only does it only assist spinners, it also assists the seamers with their cutters, change of paces, their variations, they come into play. That's the good thing about dry surfaces. Whereas in conditions where there's a bit of grass on it, where the ball just comes onto the bat, you generally take out the spinners and leave everything to the seamers. Right. So you win the toss at Eden Gardens. You generally want to bowl first. Use those conditions that assist both seamers and spinners to your advantage. And then when you're batting second, should the dew kick in, the bowlers at that time are struggling to hold the ball, and obviously the ball becomes pretty much ineffective because it's kind of soft on the seam because of the dew, and it just skids onto the bat, leaving the bowlers with nothing to really put their skill to be effective on that surface. So you win the toss, and Eden Gardens, you want to bowl first.
Question number 3, Stanley, 3-1.
Stanley, since you're the bowling coach, you were the bowling coach, and now you're in all-round coaching. Sorry, वापस से. Stanley, when you look at the Eden Gardens pitch, and since you were the bowling coach of Zimbabwe, let me throw it a curveball at you. Eden Gardens, unlike the other stadiums, has almost the same kind of wickets parity between the pacers and the spinners. The pacers have taken over 412 wickets, and the spinners have taken 310. Very close. Well, will the bowlers decide the outcome of the match today, or is it going to be big bang theory of the batters?
So now, Eden Gardens is that sort of venue that can easily give coaches a headache. It's that sort of ground where you really need to get your bowling balance right. Okay. Now, getting your bowling balance right also starts by making sure that you have every bowler of yours 100% in terms of fitness. Now, we haven't seen Enrique Nokia in this edition of the IPL so far this season due to the injury. When he will be ready to go, that's the question that needs to be answered. But I think they're really missing his services in that bowling department at this moment. Just looking at the performance of Hashit Rana, is he the sort of bowler KKR can depend on? I think not yet at this moment in time, and hence I say the combination has got to be spot on. If you have a Nokia in that team, he leads that pace attack, and Andre Russell can be the batting all-rounder. Okay, the one thing that coaches have to think of is should we win the toss? Should we lose it? They have to try and make sure they have a team that is balanced for either side of the coin, which is the hard side of playing at Eden Gardens, and which requires you to have 100% of your team being fit, so you can at least put your best team forward to be able to handle either side of the conditions. I think bowling is key. Should you win the toss, you want to bowl first. Use those conditions up front that do help seamers and spinners. You want your best bowlers up front for those conditions. You lose the toss, you also want bowlers who are able to bowl in conditions that have very little assistance. At the end of the day, championship teams are teams that are able to perform either side of the coin.
Well, let's look at the batting side of KKR as well. Apart from Ajinkya Rahane's 56 and Quinton de Kock's 97, other batters have failed miserably on this. Do you think they're losing the plot right now, or Sunil Narayan hasn't come to the party as yet?
So now for KKR, it's not a question if they can. They need to win this encounter today versus the SRH. Lo and behold, their batting lineup only has 2 talking points, 97 for Quinton de Kock and then 56 for Ajinkya Rahane. What this does, okay, in reality, the current status quo, SRH have something to try and exploit. They know KKR has not been scoring runs. Okay, so they're going to try and use that to their advantage. That means their bowling attack is going to be coming in full steam ahead to try and make sure that they do not get these batsmen in form today, or any one of them for that matter. They make early inroads up that top order, try and get Quinton de Kock early. They know the rest of the batting attack so far, the batting unit, has not been able to put in a charge, that their batsmen or the opposition batsmen cannot chase. Now, if conditions play true to form, okay, should they win the toss, although it's not guaranteed, but should they win the toss, they know they've got an upper hand, and that just puts more bees in the KKR camp, as it were. Now, KKR have to look at themselves. We're a championship winning team. We are the defending champions. Okay, we do not deserve to be where we are at the bottom. That is pressure alone. Up and above that, they are playing at home. They've already played one match. They lost that versus RCB. So they've got plenty of stuff to think about, and losing someone like an Angi Nokia at this moment in time, not being able to play, it's just pressure. Okay, the bowling unit has to come to the fore. The seamers up and above that have to make sure they prove their mettle should they get an opportunity to bowl first. Batsmen, it's no longer a question. It's now pretty much a demand that they have to turn up. It's not a two-man job. Every other individual in this team has to start scoring if they're going to start winning matches. They're at the bottom of the table. Their net run rate is not looking good. It only takes to win matches to get out of that position and raise that net run rate.
Well, we are joined by Noel David, the former Indian off spinner, one of the most amazing fielders of the game. We quite love the way he puts things into perspective, especially from his hometown, Hyderabad. Again, welcome to the show, Noel. KKR brought Venkatesh Iyer for 23 crore in the auction, but he managed only 3 and 9 runs this season. However, he scored 52 and 52 runs in the last 2 matches against Hyderabad. Can we expect a big knock from Venkatesh Iyer tonight, considering he's had a mixed fortune?
We shouldn't worry about Venkatesh Iyer at all, because we know what he's capable of, what he brings to the table when it really matters. He has done this in and out, past season for KKR. He's sometimes been a match winner for KKR. So I think that shouldn't be a worry for the management at all with Venkatesh Iyer's first 2 games. I think there's still a lot more matches ahead. IPL has just begun, and they have faith in Venkatesh Iyer, the management. It's not about the purchase, what they have purchased him. It's the matter of his performance. And they know that he can deliver it when it really matters for the team. He can bowl also a bit, and he's always been set up in the playing 11, and especially in the middle order. So we shouldn't worry about Venkatesh Iyer at all. It's just the beginning of the IPL, and he will come good. That's for what I feel as a person, because he's a very good enterprising left-hander.
Noel, SRH, again, your favorite team in the world, who were threatening to post 300 odd runs in the match in the last few occasions. The batting looks terrified and terrible on the last 2 performances, scoring only 286 runs in the first. Can they regain their form on a pitch which is going to favor them?
Look, the SRH needs to understand themselves as a team, because they know very well that the bowling is not so good to what they were last year when they came into the finals, because I think they're missing the service of Bhunesh Kumar and Natarajan, the depth bowlers. So this year they don't have those kind of bowlers who can really, bowl at the depth with the, yorkers or the slow full tosses. So I think that's the main thing. So what they depend is on the batting. If the batting doesn't come good, then they will not get that 280 or 300 mark which they are expecting, because if they cannot rely on Travis Head to get all the time, or Abhishek Sharma, or the team has to come good, because they have very good batting side till the end. We have not seen that in the first game against RR, but later on, the top order was not getting those runs. It was only Travis who was getting that 47 odd runs, but Abhishek Sharma and Ishan Kishan had failed. But I like this lad, Ankit. He's come really good in past these 2 games, getting that quick fire 40s or the 60s. I think I would love to see him playing one step ahead, one order more, where he can really explore the overs. So I feel that SRH has to get together, get back to the drawing board, and think about what they want to do, because if they want to win matches, they have to put those total on top, like they put it on the first game. They scored 280. They have to cross that mark all the time, because then only the bowling can be a bit useful. Otherwise, I don't think they have that bowling strength which will help the cause of the team.
Right. Thank you, Noel. Let's talk about the man who's destroyed a few of the opponents, Travis Head. He's given headaches to the most of the opponents. Let's see, can he pose the same kind of headache for KKR, considering in the last two matches against the KKR, he's got out on duck. Do you think it's headache time or just head full of great memories for Travis Head?
I don't think Trevor Side must be worried about what he has done last time against KKR. Failing twice, getting that. I don't think he'll be much worried about it. That's how he plays. That's how he enjoys his game. That's how he explores his batting. So I don't think that should be a worry for him. He knows his batting strength. He knows what he can do when it's his day. He's very dangerous. So I feel that Trevor said, along with Ishan Kishan and Nitish Kumar and Abhishek Sharma and Carlson, will play main roles in this game, because if Trevor Side gets even a 60 quick fire 60 or 70, that won't be enough, because the other guys need to revolve against Trevor Side to par the total of 270 280 to defend themselves, because as I said previous to this, that the bowling is not to that standard what they had last year. So I think the batting has to come good, and it shouldn't really rely only on Trevor Side, because Travis Side is not the only guy who's playing. The other guys also playing along with. So I don't think that shouldn't be a worry. But I feel that Abhishek Sharma, Ishan Kishan, all these guys have to revolve against Travis Side and support him. That's the key point if they want to win this encounter against KKR.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Noel, Stanley, and also Paul Dennett, who opens the batting for us of the program. Thank you, all four of you. This is Sunil Ashkalra saying thank you for joining us on Cricket Predictor. Don't go anywhere else. We are back after a short commercial break.